Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline live in our BP TV studios. Thanks for watching the show each and every week. And Tuesday through Saturday night, we're on Verizon 32, which is seen from Nemacolin to Cranberry Wexford and every point in between. And hello to all you folks on Comcast 7 watching us only in Bethel Park. We appreciate it. Thanks for getting us all those likes. We slipped down to like 6,390, so we're just holding steady there under 6,400. We appreciate the likes and watching our show, and we got a show for you tonight. Always something in sports to talk about. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Chip Hayner here, and we got Smoking Jim Frazier to talk sports with you. Our opening segment is What's on Your Mind, and then we have other segments and talk our Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, any Pittsburgh sport, high school teams, and we're going to start right now. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, and if you want the green,
it's coming at you.
You got to see Levine. I snatched out of here like Ladarius Green. Ladarius Green, but
I haven't snatched anything yet.
When's that going to happen?
Here's a little 2016 WPIL football championships. They did a great job from 3A to 6A. It was televised, Root Sports.
Oh, I missed it.
And I am so proud of Root Sports for not televising next week's A and AA game. So I'll pass that down for you. You guys want to browse through that. But what's on my mind is the Pittsburgh Sportsline College Football Roundup. Congratulations.
This is something new.
We
got a roundup now.
Congratulations to the Big Four, Cal U, Pitt, Penn State, and West Virginia all got victories. The Pittsburgh Sportsline Team of the Week.
From where? High school, college,
high school team of the week.
Right.
Honorable mention goes to Central Catholic's 42-7 victory over Seneca Valley. Also honorable mention, Beaver Falls 35-22 victory over Aliquippa. Honorable mention goes to TJ's 42-0 over Newcastle. And the Pittsburgh Sportsline Team of the Week goes to West Allegheny for putting it on McKeesport. Congratulations, West Allegheny. 38-37 in overtime. Congratulations to the rookie coach of McKeesport, Matthews or Morgan. Matt something. Rookie coach made some rookie errors. 50-yard field goal.
Something. Was it McAdoo?
Something like that. 50-yard field goal at Heinz Field. No high school kid can make a 50-yarder at Heinz Field. He called the kick block. The kicker missed it by 15 yards, but McKeesport and their new coach roughed the kicker, got 15 yards closer, and he nailed it, sent it into overtime. But the Pittsburgh Sportsline Player of the Week, we're going to stay with West Allegheny. Quarterback Nick Ross, 6'1", 190 pounds, passed for 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he ran a walk-off 2-point conversion in overtime to win the game. And he's also a good baseball player, Chip.
There you go.
So remember that name. Senior Nick Ross did a great job for West Allegheny. R-O-S-S, like Betsy Ross.
Wow, okay.
There you go.
Same way.
Smoking Jim, very good for your updates.
Thank you, sir.
Especially the 4 colleges. That's amazing.
The Big Four.
Big Four now. Cal, you got up in there. That's
Maybe
nice.
the Frozen Four now. It's a little cold out. I think they're all going to the playoffs.
Hawks biting.
Yeah, and one of them got a chance to win national championship. KLU should win the national championship
Really?
this year. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get some updates.
Hey, live long and prosper.
That's right.
Live long and prosper, right?
Vulcans. We got the Vulcans.
Yes, you do.
Chip Hayner, What's on your mind?
Oh, thank you, Alan. And yes, you do give a tip of a hat to the rookie coach of the McKeesport Tigers, because also on their resume for this year, not one, but 2 defeats of the mighty Gateway Gators.
Matt Miller's his name. That's right, Matt Miller.
But the reason why I brought that up is because what seems to have afflicted the WPIAL championships is something that's going on in professional football. I know you can't do this for high school football, but there does seem to be a problem with the officiating, and it is getting to be worse and worse every week. Calls are not consistent. They're missing calls completely. So why is the officiating such a mess in the NFL? Well, because you've got the Lord Almighty, Roger Goodell, who's got everything just the way he wants them. I can't for the life of me believe that the NFL, which is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, can't hire full-time referees. We've got referees that work part-time. They come in once a week, and apparently they're not adequately trained. They're not adequately practiced. Too many flaws in the system the way it is. And are you telling me that you can't pay these officials to be full-time officials, just like they do in Major League Baseball, in the National Hockey League, in the NBA? Every other sports venue does that. I think that's one of the things that needs to happen. We need some more consistency with the refereeing. And I think the answer to the solution to that problem is to make the referees full-time employees, and then make them accountable. If as a player, you go out and you drop 10 or 12 passes in a row, pretty soon you're not getting the ball thrown to you anymore. You're not even seeing the field. Well, if referees continue to have such atrocious officiating, well, then you know what? You lose your job. We're going to bring somebody in that can do a better job, or maybe somebody that can see. But that's something that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed sooner as opposed to later. It's not going to happen this season. This is something they should do over the summer months during the NFL. They need to figure this out. Now, the other thing that's on my mind this week, of course, I think that I don't have very high regard for college football coaches. Okay,
when did this happen?
Just as a general rule, they're some of the sleaziest characters I've ever met in my life. They will tell a parent, a child, a reporter, or anybody that was willing to listen anything they want to hear, even though it doesn't have anything to do with the truth. And that leads me to what has gone on with Notre Dame University, and the mighty Notre Dame University that does it better than everybody else. They walk a straight line. Everything's above board. Well, now they have been forced to forfeit all of their wins from 2012 and 2013. In these 2 years, Notre Dame University amassed a record of 21 wins and 5 losses. Now, their record for those 2 years stands at 0-26.
Wow.
And of course, the head coach says that I had nothing to do with any of the discretions, and they were academic violations. Well, of course, the coach didn't have anything to do with it because he had one of his student trainers do the deed for him so that he had plausible deniability. This is what I think that would be in the best interest of college football and the University of Notre Dame. Fire Brian Kelly now, okay? I mean, if you are in charge of a program that is convicted of that many violations, whether you did it or not, you're responsible for everything that happens for everybody that works under you. So you know what?
Well, they were players on his team.
There were players on his team. There was one of his trainers who was doing the cheating. Either way, if he didn't know about it, he should have known about it. But you know what? The axe needs to swing. They need to put a stop to this, because if he stays on and they let him continue to coach, they're making a complete mockery of the NCAA, of the system they have in place to discipline people. It just needs to be done. There should be no questions about it. terminate him, but, we'll see what happens. That's what's on my mind this week.
Thanks, Chip. I couldn't agree with you more. Especially since that one kid died,
I forgot about
during
that.
that storm.
Well,
When he told him to stay out there during a
I
storm.
forgot about that.
Well,
I
and
mean,
then-
Sullivan was the kid's name.
well-
He let that kid up there
Yeah.
on a shaky
Yeah.
forgot
platform.
about that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was appalled that they kept him after that.
Well, it's
Good
just
point. I forgot about that.
it's just ridiculous, and his team is playing poorly enough this year. Notre Dame isn't even going to be a ranked team. They're lucky if they finish the season at 4-8. So now you've got in your first 7 years as a coach. Now you've got one losing season, some
You had one
decent
great
season.
season. You had one great.
Well, no, he
great
didn't
season,
because right
12
now,
and 0. Wasn't he 12 and 0 the one year?
No, he's 0-13 for that year because he had to forfeit all of those wins. So he's had back-to-back seasons where he was 0-26.
I
And
missed
how
that.
many head coaches would keep their jobs after going 0-26?
Good point.
None.
Okay, do the right thing.
All right, we'll pause in his honor that he'll be fired. All right, we'll go on. Thanks to Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Smoking Jim's eating some of that hoagie right now, that steak hoagie, and he's polishing off those. Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Call him at Hillcrest Shopping Center. Go pick it up. Have him deliver 412-831-1900. Tell them you heard about us on Pittsburgh Sportsline. They appreciate that. So thank you very much. And with Joey Fabus, we end the show with Stay Joey Strong. This is Joey before and after he had DIPG. There's a Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Donate as little as $1 or what you can afford to, or help out with their events that they have. Check them out online, and we'll end the show with Stay Joey Strong. Then the Bethel Park Community Foundation, they have money. I tell these guys all the time, they're great organizational men. Chip and Jim, they just haven't got an organization.
We
that
just
can
haven't
use the
found
money.
a foolproof way of getting it yet. But we're working on it.
The money has to go to the kids. It has to go to the group in Bethel Park that you would be helping, and there's from $100 to $5,000. Check out the Community Foundation, Bethel Park communityfoundation.org. You can go there, bpcf.org, get an application, check it out. Check out the Facebook page, like their Facebook page, Bethel Park Community Foundation. I have. Give it a like, and they post up a lot of the things they do in the community. A lot of great stuff and just fantastic things there. All right, what's on my mind? As you know, I'm a Steeler fan. I predicted a Steeler win last second against Cleveland, and I'm vindicated. I feel a little lost at watching the game and how they performed, but I'm going to chalk it up as we got a win. Somehow it wasn't redemption, somehow whatever it was. James Harrison was named the starter. Jarvis Jones got to sit out most of the game till the end, and a miracle happened. I don't know how to even say it. 8 sacks.
I thought you were going to say everybody on the defense got a sack but Jarvis Jones.
No, I wouldn't say that because that's not true. But yeah, 8 sacks. Enjoyed every one of them. A lot of pressure. It was nice to see a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And whoa, their quarterback got knocked out of the game. Unbelievable. So, and McCown come in and played like a champ.
I don't know how McCown didn't get knocked out of the game. Tuitt hit him one time, and I was surprised he got back on his
He been
feet.
held on to the ball.
Tuitt said, another nice thing is it's nice when guys say stuff to the press and then they step up. Tuitt said he'd step up because we lost our captain, Cam Hayward. He more than stepped up. It was an honor to see him play, and he played a great game. So I'm hopeful we can start something. We snapped that losing streak, no problem. And now we can move on, and now we can try to focus, since we're in first place, try to get that championship belt here in the North Division here. We're due. No more losses now. I don't know if we'll go to the Super Bowl, but maybe we can get to the playoffs. So I'm hopeful. Let's go Steelers. The black and gold, I'm not bleeding this week, so I appreciate it. It wasn't a fun game to watch. It was sort of boring, but it was a win, and they scored more points than they did. So that's what counts.
Isn't it kind of odd, for as long as there's been a rivalry between the Steelers and the Browns, that game isn't even a rivalry game?
No,
I mean, there's just the Cleveland Browns have been so badly mismanaged over the last 17 years, and this year they've even given up trying to win this year. Look what they did at the start of the season.
What have they played? 6 different quarterbacks?
I think really that the NFL should step in and do something to try to make an attempt at trying to win. I mean, because what about the competitive balance of the league? If you know a team's going to lay down 16 times, shouldn't there be some kind of a fine for that?
I don't know. They got some nice young players, but I'm not seeing too much happening with it. What I do is when I meet somebody from Cleveland, I go, I know you're probably a Cleveland Brown fan, and I feel bad for you. They stole your team, took them out of town at night, gave them to Baltimore. Then they became a good team, won a Super Bowl. And then they give you a team in 1999 that's crap, and then nothing's happened since. So I feel bad, and then people go, no, I'm not a Cleveland fan. So I go, sorry about all that.
Yeah, there was a lot of their fans there disguised as orange seats on Sunday. I'll be in Cleveland next Thursday, so
I don't
know
how.
I'll be wearing my colors.
On a serious note, I don't know how you could go to watch Cleveland play football. That would be, even if you're a football fan, that's sort of like against being a football fan, seeing the team play. So, but hey, they got a team. Not everybody has an NFL team. Las Vegas is going to get one. So who knows what will happen?
Oh yeah, they're going to get the Raiders.
The Raiders got approved. They're giving them money.
Oops.
Whoa, we lost the V. We got BPT. Well, keep watching our show. Those things happen. But yeah. They told the Raiders that they're going to build a stadium there.
Wow.
I think $775 million. So now they got to get the heck out of there, get out of California and head east to Las Vegas.
This is the one thing that confuses me, and this became more of a reality to us here back in 1995 when the Cleveland Browns left Cleveland and moved to Baltimore, and then we went through in the late 90s, we went through some issues where, the funding wasn't going to be available for Heinz Field and PNC. We could have lost both of our major sports teams. But fortunately, the voters of Pittsburgh decided to, allocate
kick up some money
to do that. But, to me, you think about how much revenue that a professional sports franchise brings in for the local community. Think about how much money Pittsburgh would not have if we didn't have the Steelers generate the revenue that they do, or the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, I don't understand why if you had an NFL team, why you would let it leave.
Look at Cleveland. They're almost better off not having the team. All right, let's move on. We got other segments here. First segment is Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, and shout out to James Harrison for breaking the Pittsburgh Steelers unofficial sack record. Mean Joe Green and all those guys had well over 100 sacks, but sacks wasn't counted before 1981, 82. So all their career sacks went into the dumpster.
Oh, they never were counted.
They weren't counted, but congratulations, the unofficial leader.
77 and a half.
And I didn't even realize his dad had passed away this past summer. And the day after his dad died, he went fishing because that's what his dad enjoyed doing. He caught a big fish for Papa, and he got a little emotional because his dad wasn't there to see him break that record. But anywho, Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Every year I sit up in the press box at the Heinz Field with my former high school coach, the legendary, the greatest high school coach of all time, according to the WPIL Hall of Fame, because he was the first coach inducted into the WPIL Hall of Fame. Stadium named after him. Pete Annamarino, 90 years old. Only person on the planet that calls me Jamie. And sitting,
Jamie.
So Coach Annamarino is sitting to my right like Chip is, 90-year-old young, and the retired coach is sitting to my left.
Who?
George Novak.
Wow, recently retired.
Recently retired, and that goes into my fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. 30-year anniversary of Woodland Hills High School.
Wow.
1987.
The only coach they ever had.
Only coach they ever had, and I tell you what, man, he took over a program that was absolutely loaded. I mean, they had high schools from 7 different high schools that merged, all kind of talent. And I remember the year before was the year Gateway won a state championship. And I went around to some of the schools, like Churchill and Swissvale, and I started looking. I says, man, I was telling the people in Monroeville, and at the time, my dad was the booster president of Gateway Boosters both of those years. A lot of money came up missing. But
Really?
yeah.
Any investigation?
No investigation.
Were you helping them?
Huh?
Were you helping them?
Oh, we had a good Black Friday back then. But
I don't understand. Because you don't shop.
Is that different from White Friday?
Day after Thanksgiving, man, was always good back then. But and I remember telling everybody, man, this Woodland Hills going to be good, man. They got a lot of talent. And at the time, Gateway was just coming off of being ranked 3rd in the nation, USA Today, and they were 8th in the nation that next year with the number 1 player in the nation, Curtis Bray. One of my brothers was on that team too. And in Woodland Hills at the time, I remember going to see him play Norwin. And Norwin, who now Gateway's athletic director, was the head coach then, Randy Revitsky of Norwin, yeah. And Norwin, all-white team, had a great white running back. And they beat Woodland Hills.
You were a little late on the color today.
Yeah, I was a little late. But I was sitting there in the Wolverina, and of course it was a dump at that time. It was Turtle Creek's old stadium, and I tell you what, man, you had to wear a hard hat to get up some of those bleachers because the concrete was a little loose and everything. And
hence the merger. That's why they merged these
yeah.
things.
And I took the information back to Gateway, the scouting report, and I says, man, this this Woodland Hills team's pretty good. They gave Norwin a pretty good battle.
What they do with your report, throw it in the can.
Yeah, they was arrogant. And at the time, Gateway was on ESPN. They're doing ESPN's doing features on Curtis Bray and Mike Livorio.
Wow.
It's about 30 years ago. And I'm just a baby at the time, And so anywho.
Hold on, how old were you? Were you in diapers or out of diapers?
I was a little bit out of diapers, man.
Okay.
So anywho, man,
You already played for Gateway at that time.
So anywho.
I'm thinking that's around 1976.
So anywho.
With my calculations of 30 years.
So anywho.
86,
actually.
What happened? Sorry to distract you.
So later on in the year, Woodland Hills started putting together some wins. They started off.
Did they have any losses?
0-2, 0-3. Norwin had beat them, but then they started putting together some pretty good wins. And so when Gateway played them, that first year they were renovating Churchill Stadium.
Well, sure.
Because that's where the game was going to. That's where the teams was going to play at Churchill. Churchill had lights and everything else, but they need to renovate the stadium. So the first year they was going to play in Turtle Creek, where there's no parking, there was no lights, at what is now known as the Wolverina.
They were roughing
and this was the birth of the Wolverina. Gateway came in as the 8th ranked team in the nation, undefeated. Woodland Hills comes in, put together a couple wins. Close to 25,000 people at the game.
Wow.
My dad, as booster president, rented an airplane to fly over that says Gateway number 1. And it was a battle, man. It was a sunny day. late in October, man, there was people everywhere. There was people parked on people's lawns. I mean, everybody that could be at that game was at that game.
Including you.
And Coach Novak did a great coaching job. I remember they had a wide receiver by the name of Ramsey. And Ramsey probably he might have had more catches than Gronk did. Gronk had 8 catches his senior year for Woodland Hills. So Ramsey might have had 9. And
Thanks for your recollection of that.
Gateway had a great white running back named El Lardo, who was also an outstanding baseball player. Could have went anywhere in football to play running back, but he went baseball.
Wow.
El Lardo was at cornerback, and all Coach Novak did was send Ramsey deep on every play. Lardo had to go. By the fourth quarter, Lardo was so tired that he was also the punter. And when they snapped the ball late in the game, he couldn't jump up and catch a high punt. Woodland Hills got that touchdown, ended up upsetting Gateway, knocked off the 8th-ranked team in the country, knocked off
1986.
And Gateway had won back-to-back championships. And they was on something like a 30-game win streak or something like that. I got to go to Heinz History Center to get all the facts.
Wow.
I'm sure it's there.
But you're doing pretty good with your memory, which is very weak.
And it was so many people, and it was such a big upset that they decided to make that their home field and call it the Wolverina. And that was probably the biggest upset. Man, it may be one of the biggest upsets
in Western Pennsylvania
history. But I kind of seen it coming. Not that I thought that they would beat them.
Yeah.
Because
this is 86. You were very young.
It was 87.
87. Okay. Now we got a year out of them.
Because Gateway had a Frazier on that team, so I didn't think that they would lose. But
so one of your brothers lost.
Have you ever let your brother hear the end of it?
Huh?
Have you ever let your brother hear the end of it?
No. Or my dad. Yeah, that airplane flying over. I'm sure
jinxed him.
Yeah, I'm sure that cost a few bucks, but as booster president, he could do that. But
flying right out of the Monroeville Airport, right?
Yeah, with that sign there.
Get up and go.
Yeah. So that's the history. That's 30 years ago, football season-wise, 30 football seasons ago, and so congratulations to Coach Novak. Enjoy your retirement. I think Woodland Hills will go down the drain without Coach. A lot of times the coach stepped down, and the program goes the same way. And I'm predicting that's going to happen to Woodland Hills, and I'll be happy to see it.
Well, why did he step down?
Do you think that
Old
Woodland?
age.
Yeah, you think that Woodland Hills may pick one of the more successful coaches off of a less notable high school?
Well, Woodland Hills is a high school made up of 7 ghetto dump communities and one affluent community, Churchill. And in those kind of communities, they hire from within. So they'll promote somebody who's unqualified from within. That's my prediction.
Wow.
They're not going to go outside probably until a couple of years when the guy can't handle the job. So
what a prediction,
Smoke. Yeah, that's what I'm predicting. Yeah, so look for somebody from Rankin or Braddock or North Braddock to get it.
You usually point out white or black, and
white guy get it.
You're not racist,
yeah,
so I understand that, but I mean, you just point out the facts.
Yeah, white guy will get the job.
That's what I wanted to confirm from you.
A lot of brothers would be assistant.
Who's unqualified. Right.
Stevie Breston will be one of the assistant coaches. He was a assistant coach this past year, yeah.
They won't boost him up.
He worked with your passing attack, and they threw the ball 3 times a game, so he helped out.
Sounds like it was successful. Thank you, Smoking Jim. I'm glad we got all that. There were a lot of facts tonight. You know that. This might have been the most fact-laden fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. We didn't find out your age, but it was somewhere after you had graduated that high school. And your poor brother was on the team that got beat. Jeez. All right, Chip, let's go to your Chip's Trivia Time.
Okay. Well, I have been known to have a lot of baseball trivia in my trivia segment. Well, this week I thought I would take a different tact because baseball's, for all rights and purposes,
It's going to bed until February when we spring training. So
Good.
there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on. Trades are being talked about, and offers are being made. They're being rejected. Counter offers are being made. But what I'm here to talk about today in my trivia section is the game. Will be played this Saturday at noon. Biggest rivalry, college football history. Michigan and Ohio State. It's the last regular season game of the year. And just to kind of give you an idea of, it is known as the game, and it is played by the Michigan Wolverines and the Buckeyes of Ohio State. It has attracted particular national interest over the last 4 decades, as most of the games have determined the Big Ten Conference title and the resulting Rose Bowl matchup. Many have influenced the outcome of the National College Football Championship. The game was ranked by ESPN in 2000 as the greatest North American sports rivalry. And I brought this rivalry up because, at one time, the local universities in our area had rivalry games, and it was something to look forward to. I remember Thanksgiving weekend every year back when Pitt and Penn State used to play in the 70s and into the early 80s before the plug was pulled on that. But what we've got going this Saturday is we have number 2 Ohio State playing number 3 Michigan. And this is going to be a game for the ages. Just to kind of give you an idea of some of the things that have happened in the series, and I've got many pages of information here, and I don't really want to bore you. I was thinking, well, if Jim doesn't show up tonight, I got something.
You got some strong backup.
Yeah, I had some strong backup. But
give us the highlights.
The two Midwest state schools first met in 1897, and the rivalry has been renewed annually since 1918. The game has been played at the end of the regular season since 1935, with exceptions 1942, 1986, and 1998. And why, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's a great place to have the most important game of the year, your biggest rivalry game. There's also another rivalry game that's not nearly as big as this one being played Saturday, Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah. The Iron Bowl. That's the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, but Auburn is kind of like, they're not in the conversation right now. In Alabama, people are saying that the University of Alabama's team this year could beat the Cleveland Browns. So who knows?
That's not saying much.
That's not saying much. Since 1918, the game site has alternated between Columbus, Ohio, and Ann Arbor, Michigan. Michigan hosts the game in odd years, Ohio State in even years, and has been played in Ohio Stadium since 1922 and Michigan Stadium since 1927. Through 2010, Ohio State and Michigan have decided the Big Ten Conference Championship between themselves 22 different occasions and have affected the determination of the conference title in addition 27 times. The first meeting between these two teams, October the 16th, 1897, Michigan beat Ohio State 34-0. The last meeting was November the 28th, 2015. Ohio State beat Jim Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines 42-13. This year, we've got the Buckeyes, who are ranked number 2 right now, defending national champions, will be taking on the Wolverines, and I will take particular joy in watching Jim Harbaugh whine on the sideline as his team circles the bowl.
I got my money on him. Michigan.
You sure you do. Macaroni Tony likes you. The total of meetings between these two schools is 112. The all-time series, Michigan leads with 58 wins, 47 losses, and 6 ties.
Wow.
The largest margin of victory was Michigan stomping a mud hole in Ohio State, 86-0 in 1902. The longest win streak was by Michigan from 1901 to 1909, 9 games. The current win streak is Ohio State. is won the last 4 from 2012 to the present. Also, to get into some stuff that some of us may know something about, really none of us really know a tremendous amount of what happened in Big Ten football in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. But 1950, one of the most famous games in the rivalry is the 1950 contest, colloquially known as the Snow Bowl. 8th-ranked Ohio State, coached by Wes Felsler, was scheduled to host the game on November 25th in Columbus amidst one of the worst blizzards on Ohio record. The Buckeyes, who led the Big Ten, were granted the option to cancel the game against Michigan, which would have, by default, given the Buckeyes the Big Ten title outright. Ohio State refused. The game was set to be played amid howling snow. And in a famous example of a field position game, the teams exchanged 45 punts.
45.
Okay, often on first down in the hopes that the other team would fumble the ball near or into their own end zone.
Wow.
Ohio State's Vic Janowitz, who would claim the Heisman Trophy that year, punted 21 times for 685 yards and also kicked a field goal in the first quarter for the Buckeyes' only points. Michigan capitalized on 2 blocked punts, booting one out of the back of the end zone for a safety and recovering another one in the end zone for a touchdown just before halftime. Despite failing to gain a single first down or complete a single forward pass, Michigan gained a 9-3 victory, securing the win. Between 1951 and 1968, under Woody Hayes, the Buckeyes won 12 of 18 contests. Wow. And some of the funny things that Woody Hayes, because Woody Hayes took this rivalry very seriously.
Yes, he did.
Sure. And if anybody knows anything about the legend of Woody Hayes, and I know Jim could go on chapter and verse with you on that one, being the college football aficionado that you are, Woody Hayes was passionate, and he got a little carried away on more than one occasion. And, so in the 1968 game, Ohio State won 50-14, outscoring its foe 29-0 in the second half, and attempting an unsuccessful 2-point conversion attempt on its final touchdown. When asked why he went for 2 points with an already insurmountable 50-14 lead, Woody Hayes is rumored to have said, "Because I couldn't go for 3.
That's good stuff.
That's a classic statement.
That is
there.
a classic Woody Hayes statement. Also, he always referred to Michigan as that team up north.
Wow.
He wouldn't even say that. He was famous for his intense hatred of all things Michigan, and according to legend, once refused to get gas in an empty gas tank, saying, "No, bleep, we do not pull in and fill up. And I'll tell you exactly why we don't. It's because I don't buy one blank drop of gas in the state of Michigan. We'll coast and push this blank car to the Ohio line before I give this state a nickel of my money." Now that is the kind of stuff that football rivalries are built on, and I think that
Noon on Saturday. Check
noon
it out.
on Saturday, watch this game. It'll be worth watching because this game will definitely have an impact on the playoff participants this year for the national title. You know, Alabama's pretty much
Locked in.
locked in. They've got Auburn this week, and then they've got the SEC championship game. Ohio State, if they win, they continue on. But either way, whichever team's going to lose this week is definitely going to probably fall out of the playoff picture.
Yeah.
So there was one other thing in here, and I can't find it. But you know what?
You gave
We'll just leave it
You
there.
gave some great trivia there. Chip.
We'll just leave it at that. The
What's
game
your
this
prediction?
Saturday. My prediction: I'm going to say Ohio State's going to win, and I'm not going to predict the score. But I'm going
it's
for
an
the
even
Buckeyes.
year, so in Ohio State.
Yeah, it's in Ohio Stadium.
Hardball figure out something. That's my
It'll be a game worth watching. Both teams will come loaded and ready for bear. I mean, they lose this game, they lose a chance for an opportunity to win the national title.
Clariton playing at noon on Saturday, so I'll definitely be watching Ohio State.
No.
Michigan.
Wow.
And the Auburn-Alabama game's later on that afternoon.
Yeah.
And
He won't be watching that.
who's Pitt playing? Syracuse?
Or is that the rival?
I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you said, I remember the Penn State Pitt game. Nobody missed that after Thanksgiving.
No, it was always right, and I always remember
Well,
the
then
games were
Pitt,
always
West
around
Virginia.
Thanksgiving.
I went to a couple with my son over
Did
the
you?
years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Wow.
but I mean, you want to get that's a game that is national. It goes coast to coast. But I mean, even though the games here are more of a local kind of a thing,
regional.
but I mean, that's how you get fan interest. That's how you put fannies in the seats. That's why, we don't have to talk about blocking up the or tarping off the upper decks of Heinz Field so we can make it look like people are attending Pitt games. It's just, you want to put fannies in the seat? Get the rivalry games going, man. Bring Woody Hayes back.
I don't know if you can. You might have to dig him
he
up.
He wouldn't even fill an empty guest. I can't believe it. That guy was just. He was something else. He finally ended up getting fired in 1978 because he slugged a player I believe it was in the Gator Bowl.
Yeah, bowl game.
Yeah, punched him in the throat.
Good
And,
hit too. Good right hand.
oh yeah, if you're going to lose your job over it, you may as well get your money's worth,
I
right?
can't
Got
believe
his
they-
money's worth.
Can't believe they fired him for that.
Times change.
Guy had no beat. He picked it. It was last play of the game. He picked it off. Caused Ohio State to lose, man. And he tried to celebrate a little bit on Ohio State's sideline.
Well,
You don't do that. You don't talk.
no, you don't. But by the same token, as the head coach of the team, you get some freshman red shirt, and you have him hit him in the
All right, enough of this. We don't believe in violence in the sports.
That's what Kelly from Notre Dame would have done, right?
He should be gone right now. That's another story. All right, our on-location show will be at Atria's PNC Park this Monday. We're working on guests there. Got a lot of stuff for you to see. Come on out, check us out from 7 o'clock to 8, Atria's PNC Park. Then I got an announcement. We got a new location coming up, Fairway Grill at Cool Springs. Just worked out a deal with the owner. Met him at the Bethel Bounty. Sampled some of his meatballs and ribs. Went to his place the other day. We'll be doing a show on December 19th from 7:30 to 8:30. We're lining up guests there already. So we'll be at the Fairway Grill, which is at 1530 Hamilton Road, Smoking Jim. Right between Castle Shannon and Bethel Park
Yes.
there. So
right at the intersection of Hamilton and Baptist.
Where's
yeah,
that at?
yeah. He doesn't
Drive
know.
by it on my way home every night, Jim.
Yeah, he's just a lost soul, so we got that. Then Smoking Jim and I took a road trip to Wheeling Island Casino. I don't know how we made it. We got a little late start. Had to get gas, had to do different things. Then we get down there, hit the exit all right, and we're on the right path. And he's looking at, there's a left you have to make to go to the casino. Chip, you'll appreciate it. We come off the exit, the first left you're supposed to make. He goes, yeah, I think I could have turned there. I'm going to go down to this next one. I'm like, it says it's a dead end. So who keeps going down?
I didn't
Smoking
believe
Jim.
it. I didn't
The
believe it.
sign says dead end. It's a dead end. And he goes, we'll just keep going here. And I go, man, it looks like there's a fence there. Get down to the end of the street because there's houses there, before the casino. And he goes, yeah, I guess it's a dead end. So he goes, we'll just have to turn around. We're late already. So he turns around, goes down. Another car's coming down towards us. He goes, look, they're going to have to turn around. The guy in front of us turns around. He parks. He lives there. So we're seeing the neighborhood. Then he goes down like he should have, made the right, then made the next right. And he goes, oh, man, we'll have to go park now. There's the parking lot. So we did make it safe and sound. What did we see, Smoking Jim?
In the fights?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, man, we got there just in time to see a lot of beautiful women was there as well. But we got there in time to see one of our favorite fighters, the handsome hitman,
Josh Himes.
Himes. Originally from the Beaver Valley, played college football at Akron University, and now he's a boxer with an outstanding record and a great right hand, left hook, and love beating up brothers. Knocked out a brother from Tennessee, and but he's just a humble guy. He's married to a country western singer, and she was cheering her husband on.
Yes,
and couldn't be happier for Josh, the handsome hitman. So hopefully
and his
he'll
trainer
make it.
Donato,
And he's
great
from
guy.
Italy, right?
Yeah,
So he's a former Zip.
yeah.
And the Akron's football team, they're called the Zips.
Yeah, definitely. So we saw him. Then the Conway brothers, Mike won the early fight, knocked his guy out, TKO. Then Matt Conway is unbelievable. He's undefeated. He took it to the guy, a West Virginia kid called the King Coon. He knocked him down. The first knockdown, it was like a delayed reaction. He gave him an overhand right that I predicted.
Yeah, you did.
And a couple seconds later, he was down to one knee, dazed and confused towards the end of the round, I think second round. So, great fight. He ended up getting a TKO in the fourth round. It was such a shock. He knocked the guy down 3 times. We didn't know the fight was over, but it was. And great fights there. Nice to see some local guys doing well. And they'll be back to fight again. Saw one of the oddest things that I ever saw. The other fighter that lost the fight from West Virginia, he goes to the ring announcer, who we know, and asked if he could talk on the mic. So they let him talk on the mic. So Rick King Coon goes, "Hey, I'm from West Virginia. You're from Pennsylvania. You beat me, but I want a rematch." So Matt goes, "I can't help it. You weren't ready to fight, but I'll give you a rematch. So we'll set that up. Whether you're from West Virginia or not, I'll fight you." So that's what he does. So set up a rematch in the ring, and it was just crazy because they were getting into it a little bit in the corners. There must have been some, Smoking Jim always calls bad blood, but there was real bad blood in this fight because I never saw Matt, Conway so angry. His nickname's Sweet Child. He was no sweet child. He was lefts and rights, uppercuts.
Body slam.
That's what I was getting at. I saw in a ring. It shouldn't happen. Normally you get disqualified, but it got so emotional that Matt picked him up in a wrestling move and body slammed him. And the kid got right back up, so I guess they didn't disqualify Matt for throwing him down on the canvas.
Who won the fight?
Matt won the fight. Very clear. He had an outstanding lead.
Yeah.
And it was just insane with what he was hitting him with. Although this Coon did have some nice punches. And
Well, it might have been a split decision because his corner thought he was winning. I don't know if they
the split decision, there was something wrong with their vision. They actually couldn't see what was going on in the ring because what they were saying was the opposite of what was happening. They say you got to follow up with that. Well, Matt followed up with it and knocked him down. So it was an odd fight, well fought. Matt's on his way. Just they love him down there. Can't beat him.
Hey,
So
breaking news, the top 25 college football rankings, the top 4 haven't changed: Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Clemson. Penn State has worked their way up to number 7 in the country.
wow.
And that is in the college football playoff
Right.
rankings. This is not the AP or the USA Today poll. So,
Just think if Pitt didn't beat Penn State.
here's what if.
Is Pitt in the top 25?
Pitt is not in the top 25.
They should be.
But here's the thing. If you look at this, you've got, if Ohio State beats Michigan and Penn State ultimately ends up beating Wisconsin, Penn State may get a chance to play for the Big Ten title.
Yeah.
And they may even get a chance to play for the national championship.
If they win, they could be in
depending
it.
on the teams ahead of them losing.
Wow.
But could you imagine Penn State 5
Well, here,
years
I'll give you the one
after
thing.
the Sandusky scandal
be having an opportunity to play for a national championship.
You got to give Franklin and his staff all the credit in the world
Terry
with what they've done.
Terry
Yeah,
Smith's
I
done a good job.
I think Franklin's just a figurehead, right?
That's Terry Smith running it. He's the top recruiter, assistant head coach. He's doing it all.
I'm glad we got that clarified. Congrats, Terry Smith. Can't beat him. Go Penn State. There you go.
All right, so now, after we had, we've gone a month without a Steeler victory. And, watched that game on Sunday, and even though the Steelers won, I still don't feel like that was much of a victory on Sunday. Of course, you're going to take a win anytime you get one.
Sure.
But
you got to beat the losing teams.
But
we have trouble with them.
It just didn't look like, well, here's the comment I'm going to make. The best offense in the city of Pittsburgh practices at the South Side, plays at Heinz Field. It's not the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
Okay? Matt Canada has got the best offense going in Pittsburgh right now, bar none. The Pitt Panthers right
Peterman
now just
good.
lighting up the scoreboard. I mean, they put it on Duke last week. And, Duke has played them to games where they played like 55 to 56 and stuff like that. And they put it on them 56 to 14. That was a thorough butt whooping. And this weekend could potentially be the last time any of us see James Conner in a Pitt uniform. He's playing his final home game this week. He could go pro, even though he has not yet committed. He could stay for his senior redshirt year. He said that there are some things that he would like to still accomplish here at Pitt. But, if everything that he's been through, the trials and tribulations, if he got an opportunity to go high in the draft this year, I think it would be kind of foolish for him not to.
I agree.
It's unanimous.
But, getting back to
what he come back from, too, from cancer.
Getting back to the Steelers, I was not impressed. Le'Veon Bell played like the best running back in football this past weekend. But we seem to have some difficulty scoring in the red zone this past weekend. Yeah. And, we've got 2.5 days to figure that out before we
Well, we had a lot of drop balls, too, getting down there. A lot of guys were dropping them in the end zone and things. So.
Well, Ladarius Green has proven that he needs to learn how to catch passes. He's missed that one a little bit. Sammy Coates, he's doing great on special teams, but as far as the number 2 receiver, not so much.
He's non-existent.
We had 2 touchdown passes dropped, one by Cody.
Kobe Thompson.
Yeah, him, and then Ladarius Green dropped one, which is the second pass that he's dropped in the end zone in 2 weeks.
Wow.
The first one was a 2-point conversion, but still.
Everybody dropped them the week before.
Yes.
All 4 of them.
So, the Steelers' defense woke up, and I'm not thinking that, the defense is really that impressive. I mean, were the Steelers' defense that good, or are the Cleveland Browns that bad? Jim, what do you think?
Well, finally, we've seen a scheme. We've been calling for it all along. I was saying, back in the day, they would move Chad Brown, the outside linebacker, on rush downs because he was so special. And, we've been hollering for Rozier to do that, but they're so stubborn they wouldn't do that. But they put old Lawrence Timmons out there, and they put him out there on the same wing with James Harrison, and they had Harrison going occupying Joe Thomas, and then they would let Timmons come off and just run right over the running back.
Yeah.
Right
it was
to
a
the running back,
mismatch. Oh, yeah.
to the quarterback.
It truly was.
And it's just easy. I mean, this is things they should have been doing from the beginning because you have enough talent, to rush like that. And
I saw probably at least 2 interceptions dropped.
Yeah.
Like Mitchell dropped one.
Yeah.
Artie Burns dropped a second one. Would have been his second one, but I think Artie Burns. And I know you didn't have the greatest things to say about him when he was drafted. This kid can play.
Yeah, he looks good.
He's fast.
He's only going to get better. He's out there and he's doing what Ike Taylor used to do. He's playing a lot of the And yeah, he's going to sink or swim, and he's got beaten a few times, but he's made some plays. So I mean, that's what you need from your quarterbacks. And of course, he would be better at doing his job if we consistently brought the heat like we brought this past weekend. This is Steeler defense.
Yeah.
8 sacks. People were getting hit. I still, for the life of me, even though it was 100% a clean hit, when Stephon Tuitt hit Josh McCown, and
How did he hold the ball?
I don't know how he held the ball. I don't know how he kept his head on. I don't know how the refs didn't throw a 15-yard flag because he hit the quarterback hard. And it was a completely legitimate play.
Yeah.
But in this environment,
It was a
that the
clean
NFL's
play,
in, I mean, because he didn't hit him in the head. He took his shoulder and he hit him right here in the shoulder. And he blasted him, man. I was like, oh, man, I would have been like, I would have got up, walked right over to the sideline and said, just give me my game check. I'm going home.
How about the hands on Terrell Pryor? He made some nice catches out there.
Yeah.
Terrell Pryor is probably the only bright spot in an otherwise abysmal season for the Cleveland Browns.
He can catch. And he
He
can
can catch.
run routes.
He can't get
runs some
anybody
nice
to get
routes.
him. Nobody can get him the ball. But apparently, he's finally gotten the memo that if you want to play in the NFL, you got to learn how to play your position. And I think he took that to heart. And they say his route running is flawless. So.
Well, when you set out a full season, he set out a full season when he was still trying to be a quarterback. And I tell you what, you got to give credit to Randy Moss. Randy Moss worked out with him all off season. And here's a guy who's a Hall of Fame receiver, took his time out to, work with Terrell Pryor. And there wasn't much money because Pryor had been out of football. And I'm glad for Hugh Jackson was the one that helped draft Pryor at Oakland. He was the head coach when L.
Right.
drafted him, so there was some connection there.
Well, that just goes to show you, a lot of these guys, they're amazing athletes in high school, and they were the best athlete on the field all through high school. Then they get into college, and they're probably one of the.
He's still the best athlete.
But he's probably one of the best 5 athletes on the field when he was in college. Then when he gets into the pros, he finds out that my talent got me here. But to stay there, it takes a lot more to stay there.
He's been the best.
But no, when he discovered,
Smoking Jim's a big fan of
he
this.
loves the game of football.
No matter what color he is.
And sitting back and watching it was probably the wake up call that he needed to be able to play, which he wasted 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, he should be
because he
should be
was just
$100
immature.
million quarterback. Yeah, I agree.
Well, that ship has sailed. Anything else, Smoking Jim?
No, sir.
Well, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching our show. Chip's traveling this weekend.
Ocean City, yeah.
Have
Ocean City, New Jersey. Yeah, I'll be on a barrier island celebrating the holiday.
Have a great time down there and help the mother-in-law with her shelter. So you'll do that and enjoy a good meal. You can't
I'll be
go
eating
wrong.
soul food.
Where at?
At my house, everybody's en route.
They're
brother.
coming in to
They're
cook
coming
for you.
in, man. Coming in to cook.
Well, you can't beat that. I'll be cooking for my kids, so we already got the turkey
Collard
picked
greens.
out. And I just want to thank you again for watching us, and
Corned
stay
beef
Joey strong.